Okay, let's try this one more time.
Okay, testing.
I can hear you.
Okay, that's good.
All right, we're working.
Go ahead.
All right, so can you hear me now, sir?
Yes, I can.
Okay, I think we're set here. Okay, so we will proceed at this point. As far as old business, I don't believe we have any old business at this point. So that'll bring us to our new business, which is variance application 252-VAR-22 for the property at 4994 Henderson Heights Road. Applicants Sam and Lisa Pino, I believe.
Pino.
Pino. Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right. Yes, sir. At this point, anyone that is going to testify needs to be sworn in. And I assume that will be the applicants. If you would please raise your right hand and do you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay. All right. I think at this point, Beth, if you wanted to describe the case, that would be great.
Sure, the request is a variance relation to 502.03 regulations, fences, walls, and hedges. No fence, wall, or hedge shall be more than 6 feet in height. The purpose of the applicant's project is to restore privacy to the pool and patio area that's been lost over the past several years to dying out of natural screening and more recently changes neighbors have made to their properties in the past 2 years, such as removing a lot of the natural screening at the shared borders. The applicant wishes to install new fencing and extend portions of an existing fence exceeding 6 feet high. Exasperating the situation are two circumstances. First, one neighbor has placed their children's playset and trampoline at the very back of the property against the shared property line, less than 20 feet from the Pino's patio and pool. The playset and trampoline negate the 6-foot privacy fence as the children's heads are above the fence when using them. Second, the other neighbor has removed natural screening and has installed numerous and very bright security lighting around their house, which at some point in the direction, which are pointed in the direction of the Pino's house and share glaringly into the couple's home. They feel the modifications to the fence is the easiest solution to resolve the problem and least impactful to the neighbors, as it will restore the privacy previously enjoyed, while not requiring neighbors to make any changes to their properties or how they use their properties, and allow the children to enjoy their yards without change and with mutual privacy. The Pinos have discussed the option of planting natural screening with their landscaper, but due to surrounding natural features that cause the original screening to die off, they likely would not take or would take years to grow sufficiently to restore the privacy lost. The proposed changes should only impact 2 neighbors directly to the south of their house and pool area, as other neighbors in the area would not have visibility to the changes. The applicants respectfully submit this variance request to the Board of Zoning Appeals for consideration.
Okay. I think we'll turn it over to the applicant at this point. What do you have to add to this, sir?
Oh, the only thing I have to add is the unique thing about our property is it sits probably a couple feet higher than the other properties. So although it's a 6-foot fence, from our standpoint, relatively, it's like a 4-foot fence.
Did you say your property sits higher or lower than the others?
Higher.
So wouldn't that make your 6-foot fence effectively even higher than the surrounding properties then?
No, yeah, that didn't come out right. So where our property meets is the same height. So our fence is at the land where our fence is at the same level as our neighbors, but the land builds up towards the pool and towards the house. So by the time you get to the house and the pool, it sits about 2 feet higher than where the properties meet.
I understand.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so your topography slopes to the rear then, slopes down.
Yeah, correct. And it's actually to the side. I don't know if you've noticed, but we have three neighbors that are on the southern border of our property.
Okay, all right. Is there anything else you have to add?
No, that's it. Thank you.
All right, I have one question for you. Are you able to point to other properties or even one in Perry Township residential property that has a privacy fence that's greater than 6 feet?
I'm not aware of one.
Okay, all right. I don't have any further questions.
I have one question. How high of a fence would you choose to erect?
So in the end, it'll be 8 feet. So the existing fence will be extended from 6 feet to 8 feet. And then the extended portion of the fence, new fencing that we put in would be 8 feet. And it would be all the same materials as the existing fence. So it'll be well blended together. So it shouldn't appear unsightly to anyone.
Have you spoken with your neighbors about redirecting the security lights that are?
No, we haven't.
Have any of the neighbors voiced their opinion on this, or do they know you're trying to do this?
No.
Actually, all the notifications went out to anyone within 200 feet of his property line, so they would have all been notified by us.
And there's nobody here to object.
And I didn't get any emails returned.
Okay.
All right, well, I guess I'll make a motion at this point, and then we'll call for a vote. And based on the testimony and the facts presented at this point, I'm going to make a motion to deny the variance for 252-VAR-22 as submitted with respect to the property at 4994 Henderson Heights Road, because it potentially altered the character of the neighborhood and set, in my view, a very poor precedent for our township.
Second.
Any discussion?
So could I make a comment?
One last comment. Yes, sir.
So if you were to be out here at the property and see what I'm talking about, you're concerned about setting a precedent for the remainder of the neighborhoods in Perry Township. It wouldn't be noticeable by anybody but the two property owners directly to the south of my property. You wouldn't be able to see it from the road or from any other property.
How long of a fence would that be? I mean,
It's
like,
about 100 feet.
on either side, right?
No, so it's on one side of the property, on the southern part of the property. With the vegetation that's still remains, that's around, it's very obscured. If you were here, there are places along that fence that is very exposed, but again, in relation to other properties, is very limited, if any exposure, other than the two properties that would adjoin where that fence is. And there's already a 6-foot fence there.
Well, I hear your points. My concern still rests with the precedent that it was set for all of the communities within our township. And I do believe you have, sounds like, other remedies that you can explore with your.
We don't. So we explored, this is our last option, other than,
Yes, We asked you if you spoke with your neighbor, and you said you hadn't.
So the light issue is one issue. We can speak to the neighbor about that, but it still exposes us it still is a loss of privacy from when we first moved in. And partially due to the neighbors' changes to their yard, which they have every right to do.
And they do, and to be candid, that's the risk we all run as homeowners. There can be external influences that can impact us positively or negatively. And from what you've described, it sounds like these factors are more short-term, not long-run. In your application, you said there was a trampoline that children would jump on and be able to see over your fence and impact your privacy. And then I believe you referenced the other neighbor had spotlights that are glaring towards your property. Am I misunderstood on anything, or?
No, it's those exacerbate things, but it's still, remember the net effect is that fence is effective as a 4-foot fence, even though it's a 6-foot fence, because our property comes up to where the house is and the pool is 2 feet higher than their property.
I understand.
So we're trying to get that 6-foot effect, unfortunately, because the topography of our property, we can't do that with a 6-foot fence.
But it's still gonna be an 8-foot fence, so somebody.
It's still gotta be an 8-foot fence, correct? It's a small portion. When you consider the lot size, it's a small portion of the lot, and again, if you were to come out here, happy to have you out here, and take a look from the road or from any of our other neighbors' vantage point, it's not going to impact anyone else. And if no one else who has received the notice has an issue with it, then I don't see that as a problem. The question is this really a precedent setter that where everybody's going to start erecting an 8-foot fence? And I think, each time somebody wants to do that, it's going to be a hearing just like this. And you got to consider the overall impact and the reasons behind it and whether it's a reasonable request. And I believe in our situation, because of the limited scope of the variance here, that the effect is negligible on anyone. We're the only ones who will continue to have an issue without this remedy.
Okay, well, I think you've made your case very clear, and at this time, we're going to close the hearing and call for a vote. And based on your additional testimony, that's what the vote will be for, and majority will carry the decision. So,
Okay,
thank you, sir.
thank you.
Mr. Chairman, to be clear, a yes vote denies the variance, correct?
Correct.
Okay, Mr. Francis,
No.
Mr. Hutton,
Or you just said the yes.
yes means denying the request.
Guess I'm a little confused.
Yeah,
You
because,
mean that
okay,
you
yes
said-
means to deny the request. So are you saying yes or no?
I'll revise that to a yes, to deny the variance. That's the motion I made.
Mr. Huffman,
Yes.
Mr. Kent,
I'll say it no.
Mr. Hutton,
Yes.
Mr. Steele.
Yes.
So the majority has resulted in a variance is denied this time. That concludes our hearing. Are there any other announcements or
No.
reports?
No.
Okay. And all we need is a motion to adjourn.
I guess so.
Good.